Hey, what's up? How you doing? It's TJ Shaputin back with another video. There's a lot of stuff going on in the country, man. The world's about to end. World War III is imminent. There's a no anti-Trump, no kings protest planned. That's supposed to be nationwide. Yeah, right. It's just a bunch of retards. I don't know. I'm really confused. I don't know what's going on. I haven't really heard much about this, so I was gonna watch a couple videos and just get my thoughts on it. My Instagram is going bananas. Thank you guys so much for all the love. I don't want to think about the numbers. I don't want to let it overwhelm me. I don't want to let all the engagement and comments overwhelm me. It doesn't matter. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm a blood-bought child of God. So I'm just gonna keep grinding. So here we go. Let's see what's going on.
Hi, Karine. Good morning. Yeah, these anti-Trump demonstrations are expected to be massive and all across the country. Here in Los Angeles, organizers are expecting some 25,000 people to take part when the rallies and protests begin here around 9:45 on Saturday morning. And as you said, these protests that are expected to be nationwide coincide with that military parade that'll be taking place in D.C., Flag Day, and President Trump celebrating his 79th birthday that day as well. Now, his administration has said the ICE raids will continue. The demonstrations will follow several days of protests, some that have turned violent. And yes, there are concerns those demonstrations could again turn violent this weekend. Now, who's behind this rally? A grassroots group, calling itself the 501 movement, made up of what it says is everyday Americans calling out what they say are the authoritarian actions of the Trump administration.
The organization says everything that Trump is doing is constitutional. He has the Alien Enemies Act so that we can skip this due process for the people that committed crimes in the country. Because I hate how they say due process, but they ignored the due process to come here. That should be null and void. What do you mean due process? That's ridiculous. You want to hold, it's crazy that the liberals, they want to hold everybody accountable except for themselves. They want to be fair to everybody, judge everybody else fairly and unfairly, except for themselves. They get to while out, say whatever they want to say, do whatever they want to do, burn whatever's not theirs down, retaliate like little salty bitches. I gotta stop cursing. Retaliate like little salty little pussies and throw a tantrum, throw a little hissy fit because they lost. It's so pathetic. It's pathetic. You're not fighting the regime. You're fighting democracy. You guys lost fair and square.
As the name stands for 50 states, 50 protests, one movement. And this morning, one of those events.
Also, all right, my biggest issue with Trump and the Trump administration is when crazy stuff happens, they don't act fast enough. They don't. Why is Trump not using every resource at his disposal to hunt down the people that are paying for the protests? Why has that not happened? Why has Donald Trump, he knows people are paying these people. He knows that there are crisis actors and there are paid anarchists. That I feel like that should be a really big priority, Donald. I think that should be like up here. That should be like at the top of, you know what I'm saying?
Organizers told KTLA they want peaceful rallies and protests and do not want things to get out of hand.
They want chaos.
So we're a nonviolent movement, and that's not just for moral reasons. It's also because it's the most effective. In modern times, the most effective resistance against authoritarian leadership is nonviolent civil movements.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Ooh, I want to get disrespectful.
The reason is pretty simple. You can influence people to the effect, and you can make empires and regimes fall by disrupting the status quo enough and putting enough pressure on authorities that they can do nothing else but crumble.
I don't think this little cuck has any idea the ferocity and the force of the United States military. I think that he is really misinformed.
Now, others aren't so sure and worry people other than peaceful protesters will be showing up to cause chaos and violence. Well,
of course
the LA County District Attorney has made it clear violence and criminal activity will not be tolerated.
Bro, the restraint.
If people want to hurl insults, we will protect that. If people want to engage in crimes, we will prosecute them. So hurling bricks, hurling cinder blocks, hurling fireworks will not be tolerated in this county, now or ever.
I mean, apparently that's
And
not
the
true.
nationwide Day of Defiance here in downtown Los Angeles will begin around 9:40.
I think the perfect way to describe this is exactly what Asmongold says about it. This is simply a hose mad situation. This is a hose mad situation because they lost the election. Now they're crying because when Democrats win, they want to just rub it in, just be little snarky little punks. And on top of that, pretend that they have this moral high ground as if it's not created off the backs of everybody that they take advantage of. And liberals can only share their toxic levels of empathy with their own circle jerk of charity. They don't have to live with any of the consequences for the things that they advocate for because that's not in their day-to-day life. This little cuck retard, where's cuck retard? Where's he at? This kid?
Status quo enough and putting
What genuinely
enough pressure on authority.
What do you think look at his face. What do you think he's been through, bro? Look at this little cross-eyed fish-faced little boy. Look at him. What does he know about anything, man? What hills have you had to climb? What oppression have you overcome? You're not fighting the Nazis. You're just a loser. You're just a loser that needs to go to
protests
work.
and demonstrations also taking place all throughout California on Saturday, as well as the nation. We'll send it back to you.
What a joke, bro. Oh my gosh. It's a retard it's a retard-ocalypse. Sorry, my brain short-circuited.
It is being billed as a nationwide day of defiance. Geez, tomorrow, communities across the country will stage so-called No Kings rallies. It's all in response to President Trump's planned military parade tomorrow in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, take a look at here. This is a map from the organization showing where
Democrats have been, Asmongold said this too, I don't want to keep taking his quotes, but these people have been brainwashed into hating their country. They've been brainwashed into hating their country. If you see a military parade as a way to flex that your country has a going on, if you think that that is a bad thing, whether you are a moderate, libertarian,
charge complete,
right wing, left wing, liberal, it doesn't matter. If you live in America and you want America to prosper, how is this negative? These people that are against this hate the country because they don't love the country because they love the country. They only like the country when who they like is in charge.
Rallies are planned here in Metro Detroit. Protests are planned in Dearborn, Novi, Romeo, Roseville, and other spots across this area. Now, let's get out to our Jay Scott Smith. He's live at one of those locations right now. Hey, Jay.
Hey, Devon and Kimberly. Good evening, everybody. And we're at Clark Park in Southwest Detroit. And right now, as you see, very quiet, very empty. Got a few squirrels out here, some people hanging out at the picnic tables. But tomorrow, organizers of the event are hoping to fill this park up and make a very loud statement in the process.
I realized that I had to do something like everyone else in this country had to do something.
Audrey Barreau moved to the United States from her native France 15 years ago.
It's a
something
Frenchie
that she described as a dream. However,
it's a damn
what she's
Frenchie.
seen happen in this country since, particularly under Donald Trump, has shaken and angered her so much that in February she started We the People Dissent.
I grew up, like learning about the Second World War, learning about fascism, learning about socialism, learning about communism. I studied extensively the Eastern Europe politics. And when I saw what I saw in February, I totally freaked out.
Hers is one of a multitude of grassroots organizations that are protesting Saturday across Michigan and across the country. Now, these protests were planned months in advance, but they've taken on a new urgency after this week's protests in Los Angeles. The No Kings protests will be similar to April.
How? They're the fascists! They're literally the fascists! What are you talking about? Hold on. Fascism definition. Fascism generally is a right-wing authoritarian ultra-nationalist political ideology that is often characterized by a strong centralized government suppression of opposition, militarism, and a nationalist or racial ideology. It often involves the suppression of individual freedoms and the promotion of a cult of personality around a leader. That's y'all niggas! Are you kidding me? It is the centralized government, the suppression of opposition. The suppression of opposition.
Similar to
Hold on. No. Go back. Go back to the frame. We won. These guys, I don't know about him anymore, but these guys won. At least these guys. You guys are the opposition. They're not oppressing you. Look at what you get to do still. Look at what you're still able to do. You're not oppressed. You're a dumbass. Look at you niggas are the fascists. You're trying to oppress your opposition. Peep the arrow. You're trying to oppress definitions. Words mean things, guys. Words mean things. I know the Democrats think that a woman is just a gender fluid term and man is a gender fluid term and he, she, her, them, they, their, but they're not. Words 100,000% mean things. You guys are by definition the fascists.
Will be similar to April's hands-off protests that focus on what they call Trump's overreach and authoritarian actions during his second term in office.
Look at the crowd of these people. Look at them. How many independent thoughts do you think exist in this crowd?
Saturday's protests in Clark Park will also feature speeches by Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist and Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. And Audrey says these protests
you can guess the hobbies and pastimes of all of these retards.
When we were doing the Hands Up protest, we had many people who came to us, organizers, saying, "Thank you very much for organizing this protest. This is actually my very first time protesting ever." So we definitely, have a lot of attention.
Now, the Detroit police will have
bro, I can't, bro. This is just a hose mad situation. They're mad. They're mad that the guy they don't like succeeded against all odds. They're butthurt and they're throwing a temper tantrum. That's what it is. These guys think that they're fighting the Nazis, guys. They think that they're on the right side of history, defying lawful law and order that every other country seems to get a grip on in the entire world. Even the crazy ones. Who wants to go to a favela in Brazil? Nobody with a brain. But they're more stringent on who comes into this country than ours has been, when we live in a utopia compared to the rest of the world. Oh my gosh, unbelievable.